Y'all, what's up and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a look and review using the new Natasha Denona Love Palette. Look at her in all her glory. She is stunning. So first we're going to get into the tutorial, then we're going to do a couple of comparisons with other palettes, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Do you need it? Do you not? Let's get into the eye tutorial. All right, y'all. So this is our look. Guess what? We're wearing a lash today. Who am I? Who am I? That is something that I want to try to do for my more glamorous looks. Is to just start throwing on a lash because it does up the look a little bit. We're only doing one look today. Don't worry, this is our palette of the month, so I'll have a few more looks pushing out. So let's go ahead. First things first, I need to prime this eye. Make sure to switch my lens so that way y'all are nice and tightly zoomed in. I know you guys like that for eye portions of the video. That is my Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Caffeine. Of course, if you don't have oily eyelids or have any issues with your shadow leaving you, don't use an eye primer. One less step you gotta worry about. Oh, and for the products on my face, everything that I used for today are my products of the month. So if you haven't seen my products of the month, make sure you check that video out. Still the same foundation and concealer, the Nars Natural Radiant and the Loreal Full Wear Concealer. We switched out the blush and contour. For contour, I'm using the MAC in Swiss Chocolate. Yes, it looks mauve, but it works for contour. And then for blush, topped it with MAC Sweet Ass Cocoa. Okay, so the first shade that I'm going to use here was one that I had not played with. I've been playing with this palette and using it now for a few days. So the first shade we're gonna go in with is Heart. This is probably this is one of the shades I have not used yet. Y'all, I've been playing with this palette for the past couple of days. So this beautiful, it's almost like a hot red, little bit pink. This is going into my crease first, and I'm using a MAC 217 brush. I am dropping this right into the crease. We're not going too high. I feel like sometimes when people start off with their crease color, they go above the crease or they go too high, and then what happens is when you start to blend it, it just boom, expands, and before you know it, you got eyeshadow all the way under your brow bone. Unless that's the look you're going for, cool, but if not, keep it low, sis, keep it low. So I'm just going to start by pressing this in. See, you can tell the difference. And then I'm just gonna start moving that around. I feel like shades like these are difficult because when you put them on, either they blend out patchy or the shade just looks totally different than what it looks like in the pan. Now I'm gonna switch over to a smaller blending brush. This is the M514. Going back in with a little bit more, again keeping this low, really focusing the majority of the color saturation on the outer lower crease, and then start blending it and taking it in. And then whatever is left will go on that inner crease. Then switching to a MAC 224. And see, also that keeps you from getting that harsh blend line too, you know what I mean? When you just start off a little too high, that blend line, that line that you have from where you originally laid down your color. So starting lower will kind of help you if that is an issue that you are having. Next up, switching to a Morphe M506, getting hot. And we're gonna go into the shade Commitment. This is a dark purple. Oh, whoa, whoa, come on, focus for me. This is a dark purple. It has a little bit, it's not shimmer, it's more of it's her cream formula. If you're familiar with the Biba palette, how that black is, I love that formula. I feel like Natasha Denona, we'll talk about that at the end. Let me focus on this eye look. So first, I'm just starting this in here, keeping it low still, not taking it too high. Then I'm just gonna start pulling this more so into the crease. Going back with Heart just a little bit. Now I'm gonna take Commitment and put it in the inner. And this is a beautiful purple. These purples are so easy to blend out. I don't have to do anything crazy. No crazy tricks, you know, don't have to try to finagle something to make it work. It just works. That's my favorite thing about Natasha Denona palettes. They just work. Simple. For the center of the lid, this beautiful red tone with the I'm sorry guys, this is not, I don't know what's going on with my lens today. Focus right there. Passion. I'm taking a flat brush, and this does have some shimmer in it, but it's beautiful. And we're just gonna pack that right on. Look at that. No wetting the brush, no nothing, just pat it on. I only dipped into the shade one time, and look at all that. That is amazing. Then going back in with that brush we used to lay down Commitment, and we are just going to blend those two together. Next up, for the inner tier, we're gonna take this beautiful pink shimmer shade right here called Giving. And I'm taking a M213 brush. That's something I want to explore more too, brushes. I don't ever mess around with brushes, so definitely going to get more into trying some other brushes. And I'm not getting any crazy fallout either. I don't even think I'm getting any fallout at all. Okay, then for liner, we're going to use Marc Jacobs highliner, the liquid for the top, and then we're going to use the crayon and black core for the bottom. We are going to take the shade Trust. Again, beautiful purple tone. It's that cream formula again. And we are just going to line the waterline with this shade, right up under that black. All right, and then last but not least here, I'm going to go in with my mascara, the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, and then I'm going to apply the Demi Wispy Lashes by, oops, right there, boom, Ardell. So let me do that, and then we'll come back and I will give you my thoughts. We'll do a couple comparisons and figure out, do you need this? All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Like I said, don't worry, there's more to come. I'll give you more than one because I love this palette. So let's get into other palette comparisons. So you're probably thinking, okay, here is our new Love palette. If I already have Natasha Denona Lila palette, do I need Love, and how is it different? Well, okay, let's check this out here. So when I look at Lila, I see this more so as a purple palette. When you look at it, it really only has one tone that's kind of from the red pinkish family, and that's that shade that's right in the center of it. This one, I feel like if you are more of a purples kind of girl, then this is the palette for you. So let's say you have this neutral row here, then you have these purple tones, then over here you kind of get into the cranberries, but then when you come over here, you kind of get a little bit more of the neutral, like the copper, gold, and some taupey shades. Now when I look at the Love palette, my eyes go directly to all of the reddish burgundy tones here and the pink tones. If you are someone who does like kind of the burgundy and the pinkier tones, then I would go with this one. Or if you're someone who just, you know, you like more of the purples, I would go with this one. Now, I feel like if you don't have either one of these, I would go with this one because you get a little purple, not much, but you get a little purple and you get more so of those reddish pinkier tones. So that's just my opinion. I do not think that these are the same in any way. I feel like you can get similar looks, but the color story is different. I feel like the Lila palette is more subdued, like it's not as payal. I feel like the Love palette definitely has more of a vibrancy to it. Now, as far as the formula, as far as the Love palette to the bigger palettes, this formula is the same as what you get in the big palette, which I think is amazing, because I know sometimes when brands try to downgrade or make a palette that's smaller than maybe their original palettes, they kind of mess with the formula. The formula in here is good to go. So maybe if you don't want to shell out $130 for a large palette, you want to roll with the smaller one, you will be pleased with this one. Oh, and Sunset. Let's do Sunset next. So this is the first, I believe, smaller palette that she came out with. Now, Sunset in comparison to Love, Sunset screams summer to me, so it's definitely a different vibe. So it's more pop, and now you've got these yellows and these orange tones, totally different from Love. And I'm trying to see if I can hold these up at the same time as Lila. So now we can look at all three of them. You can kind of see how they vary. I don't feel that any of these are the same. I mean, obviously, if anything, you're gonna think that Love and Lila, I don't think that they look the same. I just think that they are in the same color family. But with the Love palette, you're not gonna get these neutral tones, these neutral taupey tones. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right, moving right along. Another palette that I got a question about was, is the new nude palette like the Love palette? Absolutely not. I feel like the new nude palette is way more cooler tone. That's what I was trying to say about the Lila palette. I feel like it's a little bit more of a cooler tone. This is definitely warmer. This is warmer than Lila and way warmer than the new nude. And honestly, both of these are $65. I would skip the Huda and go with the Natasha just because the formula is better with Natasha. And then next up here, this one was just for kicks and giggles. This is Modern Renaissance. Mine is used and abused, and as you see here, again, you do see that like kind of that bright cranberry tone here, but it's not like this heart shade. I feel like the heart shade is what really sets it apart from all the other ones, because to me this is a unique shade to find in a palette, and the fact that it's in this palette and it works really well. Yeah, Modern Renaissance, I feel like is more so of a neutral palette with a few pops of color. And then the palette that I thought this might be like, but then once I got it in person, I realized I was completely wrong. ABH Norvina, again, the same thing. ABH Norvina is definitely cooler in tone than the Love palette. You don't have those warm, kind of reddy or pinky tones in it, so totally different from the Love palette. I was wrong, strong and wrong. Okay, now, who is this palette for? If you are someone who does enjoy maybe the warmer pinky, cranberry, purpley tones, and you don't have any Natasha Denona palettes, and maybe you want to start introducing some color into your life, that is who this palette is for. I feel like if you're someone who's maybe trying to slowly get into color, you can totally go with this, because the next look that I'll do, I'll try to do more so what you guys would call a wearable look, but you can easily wear this to work without it being too much. And that's the cool thing about a lot of Natasha Denona's palettes. Like if you want to glam them up, you can glam them up, but then if you want something that's more wearable, you can definitely make it more wearable. I know sometimes when people see color, they don't think it can be wearable as far as like everyday or work, but you can definitely do it. So that is who this palette is for. Do you need it? Now, have we seen these shades before? Yes, absolutely. For me, it's not a matter of shades. I'm chasing the formula. I'm chasing what works for me. I am chasing the less is more approach. With Natasha Denona palettes, I do not have to work. I can get through the eye look quickly. It blends. I know that how the shade looks in the pan is exactly how it's going to look on my eye. I know what to expect. It gives me the great depth, and also it lasts on my eye. So for me, that is what I'm chasing. You do what works best for you, all right, guys? So that is going to wrap up the tutorial, comparison, and my thoughts. I love this palette. Me personally, I think it is worth it. But if you don't think it's worth it, it's all good. We all are different and we all have different opinions. So down below, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Are you going to get it? If you have it, do you like it? Do you not like it? And how do you feel about the formula? Do you think it's a formula that's worth it, or are you kind of like, girl, no, forget about it. I don't have to have it. So I love you guys so much. You know the deal. Keep it simple, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.